This video is supported in part by Retro Days, a place for nostalgia nerds to gather, share memories, chat, and engage. Go to retrodays.com or check their YouTube channel linked below. One of the earliest releases in Super Impulse's line of little tiny arcade toys was this tiny Space Invaders. I picked this up years ago before I ever considered collecting them, let alone reviewing them here for GenXGrownUp, and it's one that I have yet to look at, and now that there aren't any new releases coming out, I figured it was high time this little Space Invaders got some love. Hey there, welcome back to GenXGrownUp. I'm John, and I am a GenXGrownUp, and we are in a bit of a dry spell in releases for these small tabletop and handheld arcade machines. I recently reviewed the Polybius Power Hub from Numbskull. Well, that got me kind of addicted to the Numbskull line of arcade machines, which, by the way, is a pretty expensive addiction to have. That led me to pre-order that cool looking Numbskull Space Invaders, which promises to be maybe the best Space Invaders to hit the market, short of having an original cabinet. But until that expensive investment hits my doorstep, I want to take just a few minutes here, do a little throwback review of this original tiny Space Invaders. These early run Super Impulse tiny arcades left very little to the imagination. This completely clear box that just has kind of a logo and lets you see everything, even a try me inside, so you can give it a shot. Pretty sure I got this one from Cracker Barrel. The hang tag is still there. Let's go ahead and get him out of there. Once inside, we've got our Space Invaders and some instructions that I'm eager to throw away. And the first thing I want to do is get this laughable keychain off the back. I never keep those on my tiny arcades because they just rattle and make noise. There, that's better. The little tiny cabinet itself is the original mold for these Super Impulse tiny arcades. As with all of them, really nice artwork on the side on this sticker. You have that classic old Space Invader on the side, the logo there. That marquee, which doesn't look quite accurate to my memory of Space Invaders, but I mean it's inspired by and reminiscent of. This Space Invaders predates the change they made on the kneeboard, where they changed from this random sticker to just kind of a coin mech down there, coin return and coin insert. I like that in the later changes, but this is fine. Down at the bottom, same deal as usual. We have that single mono speaker that's downward firing. On the back is just the battery door and the power on-off switch. And the controls are the standard little nub 4-way joystick and the two little buttons. After a quick power on, we are treated to that illuminated marquee, and now let's check out the Space Invaders gameplay. You can see this is from all the way back in 2017, so definitely early in the life of these tiny arcades. All right, let's go, Space Invaders. It has that little thump, which is nice, although it is a kind of a claustrophobic layout for the Invaders. The layout's been changed somewhat. They don't have very far to go. Look, they have about 5 steps, and then they have to turn around, so I got to start clearing out the sides. As you probably know, the key secret in Space Invaders is take out columns, don't take out rows. That keeps them from advancing too fast. Then you can run across and pick off the bottom ones. Oh! Hello, UFO! Boom! A misspent youth makes it easier to shoot those UFOs. Lots of timing and practice. One more row. They're no match for me. And that's as fast as it goes? Where's the digga 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 digga? They definitely carved out some of the frenetic qualities of Space Invaders. When you get down to the last 2 Invaders and they start ripping across the screen, the panic mode kicks in, kind of because of the way it sounds, and it kind of doesn't sound that way when you get down to the last couple. I was barely panicking. Take out columns, pick off the bottom. Hey UFO, come to Papa. Boom! You almost got away. The sounds are really faithfully represented. It's not that hard to reproduce Space Invaders sounds, but it's pretty easy to screw them up if you don't try. That hollow kind of whistling bullet sound, that's great. Of course, you're not going to get a whole lot of bass in the thump, but the thump is there. It could take forever for him to get to the bottom. I have like 20 shots at him. Oh, let's take a UFO out while I'm at it. Gotcha. Now let's take care of this last super slow invader. Boom. All right, nice job, Space Invaders. I think let's go ahead and kill off my ships, and let's see if that high score will stick. I'm not expecting it will, but all right. So high score 2200. Power it off and right back on. Yeah, no high score persistence. I kind of wasn't expecting that, especially as old as this one is, but the Space Invaders gameplay itself, not too bad. Despite this little guy being more than 4 years old at this point, it really holds up well. Now, part of that is due to the simplicity of Space Invaders. It's hard to screw up Space Invaders, as I said, unless you just don't try, and they did a pretty good job here. Now, it does lack some of the excitement of the original Space Invaders. It never quite gets as fast or heart-pounding as the original Space Invaders, and I never really felt I was in much peril. It's pretty easy to play this game, and probably to excel at it. That being said, it's too bad the high scores don't save, because odds are you could get a pretty tall high score in this one without too much effort. Despite all of that, this is a fun and faithful recreation of Space Invaders, and I think it's worthy of 3 3/4 tokens out of 5. That sound reproduction was particularly nice, and even if it's not the exact same game you played in the arcade back in the 70s and 80s, it still will invoke some of those Space Invaders memories without the need to plunk down a quarter. Now, if looking at this Space Invaders has got you itching for something even better, you should really check out this My Arcade Premium Edition line Space Invaders that I reviewed not too long ago. For now, for my money, it's the best Space Invaders you can get in a small tabletop form factor until maybe that numbskull hits the market. We'll see. In the meantime, give this one a look.